much time do you spend reading or writing email every single day? Based on the research, it's probably in the area of 25 to 30%, perhaps even more. And as you know, email can be a total stress. In fact, last year, France even passed a law that businesses with over 50 people basically have to get a policy that allows them to not have to check and respond to email after hours. Hello, everybody. I'm Jason Cormier. This is Room 214 Live. Welcome, and I hope you join us every Wednesday at 11:15 a.m. Mountain Time, coming live from Boulder, Colorado. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about great email communication, which is very important to the agency. When you think about communication with clients and coworkers alike, this is something that we really want to get right. So getting into it really quickly, let's just go ahead and talk about before we even write an email. What should we be considering? Thing I like to ask is there high emotion? Because if there is, you may not want to write that email, or if you do, maybe it's better to just keep it in a draft mode. The other thing you want to consider is, could there be a lot of back and forth as a result of your email? And if that's the case, you might want to consider a phone call, which could eliminate potential misunderstandings and even save quite a bit of time. What I can tell you is my business partner, James Clark, he used to actually have a yellow sticky note on his computer and it said, "Pick up the phone, stupid." And it's just a perfect example of how we can get into a real habit of writing email when the reality is we just need to pick up the phone. So getting to the next point, we're going to talk about the importance of targeting one purpose or request in an email. And this can be really difficult. And I'm super guilty of this, by the way. I get into a mode where sometimes it's just a flow of consciousness. And the reality is I really just need to limit it. We know as good marketers that summarizing our subject line, making an effective subject line, is actually what makes people open our email. A great format to follow is say hi, quickly fill in the name. Let's just say hi, Jill, and then use what's called the bottom line on top effect. And so that's blot. An example of this would be, "Hi, Jill, I'm hoping that you can respond to the feedback by noon today," for example. So another thing to consider with that is that not only is Jill going to see an effective subject line, but usually the first 8 to 10 words is what you can see in your mobile device, and she's going to immediately know what I want her to see in that email. And then finally, remembering that less is more is really a big deal, right? And so there's a URL you can go to. It's 5.sentences and it's 5.senten.es. But that's basically, it's a funny little URL, and what it does is it compels you to keep emails to 5 sentences or less. Kind of a personal policy and probably a good idea. Getting into pro email formatting tips, the things that this gets really kind of detailed, and some of this is just personal preferences, but we talk a lot about this at the agency. If you can have paragraphs that don't exceed 3 to 4 lines, it just makes the readability so much easier. Also consider bolded headers to summarize paragraphs. So if you find that, wow, I'm on my 3rd paragraph in this email, definitely consider using a bolded header to summarize what that paragraph is about. You see this these days in articles and blog posts. And then finally, consider using ordered lists or numbers instead of bullet points, especially if you have something that refers to a sequence or even a prioritized list. And so real quick, we just know from our landing page optimization knowledge that people typically pay attention to the first bullet and the last bullet. And so all that to say, don't get in the habit of going bullet crazy in your email, making really long lists with bullets. Finally, we move into powerful word choices. And this is also critical to making your emails effective. Again, this is a bit specific to the agency, given that we have clients, but using we instead of I can really offer a lot more credibility to your emails. When you consider statements like "I recommend" or "I think this," stuff like that, when you use we, it makes it so all that authority isn't just coming from you. And certainly there are cases where it's appropriate to use I, but definitely consider using we. We also like to avoid certain things. If you're apologizing in an email, don't ever use sorry but. And I will say that it's fine to apologize in an email, but you really have to be emphatic when you do it. So, for example, you have to be very specific. You have to say, "I am sorry for," fill in the blank. "I was wrong," and then actually ask for the apology if you do that in an email. Other words like unfortunately and can't, we try not to use those words because it can just give a tone of kind of Chicken Little, the sky is falling, and this relates to the last point, and that's really being positive and appropriate in an email, and just making sure that you understand the importance of that. And that doesn't mean you have to be too serious or impersonal. And a really good way to test that is to do what we call the projector test. And that is, you write an email, you look at it, and then imagine that it's going to be projected on a wall for many to see it. And the question is, are you comfortable with what you've written? Is it appropriate? Would you be embarrassed by it? Are there things you're saying in that email that could come back to bite you in the ass? And so those are all the considerations. I hope this was super helpful for you, that you got some good nuggets out of it. And just want to encourage you, if you like this video, definitely share it. Subscribe to Room 214 Live on YouTube. And if you have anything that you want to run by me, whether it's feedback, suggestions for the show, totally open to it. Jason@room214.com. And again, hope to see you next time, next Wednesday, 11:15 a.m. Boulder time. Thanks very much, everybody.